Hi, I'm Tessi Muskrat-Rickabaugh, and I'm here to talk about my research project on purity culture outcomes. Purity culture contains several key elements: an emphasis on modest clothing for girls and women, strict performance of the gender binary, and the belief that virginity is a fragile gift to be saved for marriage. Teaching that sexual exploration is dangerous and can result in an STI, pregnancy, and relationship damage, and denial of any type of relationship other than a heterosexual marriage. Academic research on purity culture is limited. Some areas of research that can inform our understanding of purity culture include research into abstinence-only sex education, sexual shame and sexual or moral disgust, and LGBTQ folks raised in religious evangelical religions. There are a number of non-academic publications as well in which people share their experiences with purity culture. This project seeks to answer the question: how did lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer folks experience purity culture, and how are they being impacted by it today? The current project is part of a larger research project begun in the summer of 2020. As part of a Churn Summer Scholars program, I created a web page which leads to a Qualtrics survey about purity culture. Participants were gathered using the snowball sampling technique. A flyer was distributed via social media to groups known to include the target population. To date, 796 surveys have been collected. So far, I've performed 47 in-depth interviews in addition to these surveys. Participants whose interviews are being analyzed for this project indicated their sexuality or gender were impacted by purity culture and chose at least one non-heterosexual identity label on their surveys. All interviewees were between the age of 21 and 40. Interviews were transcribed and are being coded. Using the CQR method, we are analyzing the data for core ideas contained in the participants' experiences. These core ideas will be cross-analyzed and reported based on how frequently they occur in participants' interviews. This is where we're at in the process. Using feminist therapy, we have identified 7 domains within the experiences of our interviewees. I will be focusing on 3 of them today. Interview participants often became aware of purity culture rules at the same time as they were introduced to reproductive sexual education. They were often under-informed about how sex works and how their body functions. LGBTQ folks were not considered in purity culture. Sexual abstinence is expected to end in heterosexual marriage. Different rules were taught for boys and girls. One interviewee expressed this as, "The expectation was for me to be good and small." Fear was used as a method of controlling adolescent sexual behavior: fear of hell, sexually transmitted infections, pregnancy, or future marital destruction. Physical activities were often limited, and anything that could be considered sexy, like dancing, was banned. Participants attempted to manage their daily experiences of oppression in ways that might be considered symptomatic. Over or under eating was a way of managing one's body shape. Risky sexual behavior, such as mixing sex with alcohol, would serve to mitigate shame. Somatic power is about how one relates to their body. Participants experienced an absence of somatic power when they were taught that physical pleasure is sinful, clothing should be chosen to conceal the body, and sexual desire is to be dismissed or repressed. Reclamation of somatic power for participants looks like the enjoyment of one's own physical pleasure through masturbation or consensual sexual experiences, choosing clothing based purely on their own comfort or preference, and eating a balanced, healthy diet. Some results that are unique to the experiences of LGBTQ participants include intentional performance of heterosexuality to divert attention away from their orientation, and difficulty recognizing and naming their own orientation. One interviewee had a 2-year sexual relationship with a female friend in high school and was still shocked when, in her 20s, she realized that she was gay and had in fact been dating this girl. Many participants are not out yet or are only out to a select few people, and many participants lost relationships with family and friends as a result of coming out. Through this research, we hope to provide clinicians with information on the experiences and needs of clients who have been part of purity culture, especially for clients who may be presenting with concerns related to sexual and romantic relationships. My goal is to highlight what harm, if any, these participants experienced as a result of being part of purity culture. Such information could help to inform clinicians as they address presenting concerns that may have originated, in part, in clients' experiences with purity culture. This research is ongoing. A poster on the current research project will be presented at the American Psychological Association's conference in August of 2021. Future direction includes qualitative analysis of interviews performed with cisgender men as well as with transgender persons, and a quantitative analysis of the data collected in the surveys. I anticipate utilizing the data that has been collected, and as I continue to work on this project into graduate school, working toward a degree in counseling psychology, focusing on the healing of trauma at the intersection of religion and sexuality. Thank you.